A while back I made a video talking about the Killdozer and how it could have been made better. I really don't think it was a very well made video, but nevertheless it gained surprising amount of attention, so I think people may have found the concept funny or something. The comment section was quickly filled with comments that talked about this guy called WhistlinDiesel, so I checked his channel and yeah, it turns out he's building the Killdozer 2.0, like actually. So I thought it would be funny to revisit this topic and talk about how he should improve his upcoming build, fixing possible flaws from the original one. As a little disclaimer, I myself have experience in the military and more specifically with tanks, so I will be basing some of my ideas on my own experiences and some are purely made up. Lastly, I do not encourage anyone to take inspiration of this to do anything illegal. This discussion will be purely hypothetical for entertainment purposes. So, as we all know, one of the likely flaws in the original Killdozer built by Marvin Heemeyer was likely the overheating of the engine, as we saw thick white smoke rising from under the armor. I'd say the likely cause for this was probably overheating of the coolant or possible damage caused during the rampage. That damage could be leak in the radiator or something else that was carrying coolant. The additional weight of the armor and weakened ability to cool the engine could have also been enough to cause overheating. And I think even WhistlinDiesel said in his video that this will be a matter that he will be trying to improve. The improvement could be providing additional airflow to the radiator with some sort of fan or ventilator. However, this vent should be thought out so it doesn't open any new weak points in the armor protection. But I think with these things thought out, it could be a solid improvement. In my original video I also mentioned that the rear mounted ripper was probably causing more issues than benefits, as it blocked some of the weapon's firing arcs and increased the weight quite a bit. In the dozer that WhistlinDiesel bought there was a double ripper, but I think he mentioned that he will transform it to be similar to the original one. So I think he has made up his mind about that, so let's move on to the armor. The armor in the original Killdozer proved to be quite effective at stopping whatever the law enforcement could throw at it. Like I mentioned in my past video, the armor Marvin came up with was a sort of a composite armor that had concrete sandwiched between two tool steel plates. The composite armor means a style of armor that consists of different materials used together. This style of armor has been used in many tanks since the 1960s. It can achieve better effectiveness with less weight than traditional steel-only armor that was used in tanks before. However, Marvin's style of armor was quite heavy, and I'm pretty sure similar effect could be reached by applying different style of composite armor that would have something like Kevlar or ceramic materials instead of the concrete. This would of course be much more expensive and difficult to make, but that's not really a concern in this video. In my original video I also mentioned the fact that no matter what, even with the improved armor of the Killdozer, it would likely stand no chances at stopping any actual anti-tank weapons, nor should that even really matter. But once again, we are talking could, not should here. So is there any way we could overcome this weakness? And in theory, there might be a way. See, most anti-tank weapons are handheld launchers that utilize something called a shaped charge explosive. This is a form of anti-tank weapon that has been used ever since the Second World War. The idea is for all of the energy carried by the warhead to be focused on a very small area with a significant velocity. In practice, this is a small jet of molten metal, like copper. In turn, this helps to achieve a significant penetrating effect. Example of an anti-tank weapon that is used very widely is the M72 Law, a small, cheap anti-tank launcher that has been used for more than half a century all over the world. This anti-tank weapon has a penetration of around 300 mm against steel. However, there is something specifically made to counter these types of anti-tank launchers. That's called the Explosive Reactive Armor, or ERA in short. The earliest versions use a simple explosive sandwich between two steel plates. This explosive detonates when it's hit by a shaped charge, negating much of the penetrating effect, sometimes all of it. Example ERA I used in my previous video was the Russian Contact 1 ERA that used exactly this technology. These ERA blocks look like small bricks that can be placed on top of the already existing armor of the vehicle. And yeah, if you were to strap these bricks on top of the Killdozer's armor, you might actually stand a chance at defeating some of these simple anti-tank launchers. Where would you possibly get these? I don't know. I hope none have landed in the East European black market during the past few years. But yeah, once again, I don't know. As far as the offensive capabilities of the Killdozer go, there could have been some room for improvement. When Marvin built his original Killdozer, his main task was unlikely to hurt anyone, but to cause as much destruction against those who did him wrong, and the offensive weapons also reflected that, as they were more of a deterrent than anything else. But let's forget that for a moment. If you were to replace the single-fire weapons he used with fully automatic ones, you could make the Killdozer much more dangerous and harder to approach. As far as close protection comes, WhistlinDiesel's build could be fitted with something like smoke launchers that would have tear gas, not mustard gas. Yeah, definitely not mustard gas. This would make it nearly impossible for anyone to come nearby the Killdozer without proper protections against these gases. But in this case, you should also include NPC protections for the cabin to make sure none of these elements get inside the vehicle, and also that the same measures would not be used against you. In this day and age, as camera technology has improved, additional viewing devices would definitely do no harm. So you don't accidentally drive on collapsing basements and gain much more awareness in general. As the last ultimate improvement that WhistlinDiesel could implement would be the remote control. This would eliminate weaknesses associated with the operator. Idea I flashed on my original Killdozer video was that you could be safe distance yourself while controlling the Killdozer from a forward operating base that would have live feed from the Killdozer's cameras and possibly a third-person drone viewing the situation. These were certainly not all of the ideas I had, but these were some that were fun to theorycraft with. And once again, please do not build any of this, and if you do, don't say you heard this from me. So yeah, how would you improve the Killdozer? Comment up below. And I wanna say thanks to all of the nearly 1000 people who have subscribed to me so far, and see you.